There will come a time, if it hasn't already, when fear will try to talk you out of your destiny. It will whisper in your ear, "You're not good enough." It'll remind you of your failures, your past, your pain. It'll tell you to sit down, to stay quiet, to wait until you feel ready. But I came here to tell you, don't wait. Don't fold. Don't let fear write your story. You may feel fear, but you don't have to follow it. You were not built to retreat. You were not designed to shrink. You were made to stand tall in the face of fear and declare, "I'm going anyway." Because being fearless isn't about never feeling fear, it's about staying fearless. Staying committed, staying focused, staying hungry for the life that belongs to you. See, fear will knock at every door of opportunity you ever come to. It'll try to keep you from applying for the job, launching the business, starting the healing, standing for what's right. And if you let it, fear will shrink your dreams into safe little routines. But you didn't come this far to play it safe. You came to break limits, to defy the odds, to live wide open. You've got to decide right now that you will not let fear dictate your future. You've got to remind yourself courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and moving anyway, and you've done that before. You've faced things you didn't think you could survive, but you're still here. You've already got proof that you can rise. That means the same power that got you through the last storm will get you through the next one. You've got a choice. Let fear block your progress, or let it build your strength. Let it keep you stuck, or let it fuel your fire. Every time you stand up when fear says sit down, you're growing something in you. Every time you speak up when fear says stay silent, you're discovering your voice. And every time you move forward when fear says don't, you're proving to yourself that you are bigger than what scares you. And let me tell you this, the version of you that lives on the other side of fear is powerful. That version of you is bolder, freer, clearer. That version of you doesn't ask permission. That version doesn't apologize for dreaming too big or loving too hard or standing too tall. That version is not afraid of failure, because failure just becomes a part of the journey forward. So don't wait until the fear is gone. Start moving with it. Let it ride in the back seat, but it doesn't get to touch the wheel. Not now, not ever. Your dreams are too important. Your calling is too loud. Your future is too great to be led by fear. You've got to fight for your courage every single day. You've got to choose boldness even when it doesn't feel comfortable. You've got to be willing to fail forward, fall down, and rise stronger. Because fear is temporary, but regret is forever. So ask yourself, what would my life look like if I stopped letting fear lead? Who could I become if I just stayed fearless? What could I build? Who could I impact? What kind of legacy could I leave? The truth is it's already in you. The dream, the gift, the grit, all of it. You don't have to go find it. You just have to dig through the fear to uncover it. So today, right now, make the decision. I will not bow to fear. I will not shrink to fit. I will not play small just to make others comfortable. I will move forward not because I don't feel fear, but because my faith is louder. Stay fearless, my friend, not just today. Not just when it's easy, but every time fear shows up, you show up bigger. Stay fearless because the world needs the version of you that doesn't hold back. Let me know if you'd like this formatted for stage delivery, short-form video, or a powerful Instagram caption. Fear is natural, but courage is a choice. Fear will show up. Don't let anyone lie to you about that. I don't care how successful, how disciplined, how strong you are, fear will knock at your door. It's part of the human experience. It's natural. It's built into our DNA to protect us. But let me tell you something. What's natural isn't always what's necessary. Fear is there to signal danger, but most of the time, it's just false evidence appearing real. It's a shadow, a whisper, a weight that grows only if you feed it. And here's the truth. You don't need to feel brave to act with courage. Courage is a decision, not an emotion. See, the people you admire, the ones who have built something great, the ones who have overcome, achieved, impacted, they didn't do it because they had no fear. They did it because they decided fear wouldn't have the final say. They chose courage, and choosing courage doesn't mean the fear disappears. No, it means you move forward with the fear. You take the step anyway. You make the call anyway. You speak the truth anyway. You apply, show up, launch, love, create anyway. Fear whispers you can't. Courage shouts back, watch me. You've got to choose. Are you going to listen to that fear that wants to keep you stuck, silent, small? Or are you going to choose courage, even when your voice shakes and your knees tremble? Because fear's job is to protect your comfort, but courage's job is to build your calling. Fear will keep you hidden. Courage will put you on the path to purpose. Fear will try to convince you that you're not ready, but courage will remind you that you've got everything you need inside you right now. You want to change your life. You want to change your family, your future, your legacy. It won't happen until you make that choice. The choice to speak up when it's easier to stay quiet. The choice to show up when it's easier to disappear. The choice to try again after failure whispered, "Don't bother." The choice to believe even when the odds are stacked. The choice to stand even when you feel shaken. Fear says, "What if it all goes wrong?" Courage says, "What if this is the moment that changes everything?" And here's the beautiful thing about courage: it compounds. The more you use it, the more you have. Every time you choose courage over fear, you expand your capacity. You stretch the limits of what's possible. You become stronger, bolder, more alive. You weren't born to live trapped by fear. You were born to lead with faith, to walk with conviction, to speak with fire, to love with boldness. And every time you choose courage, you come home to that version of yourself that knows who you really are. Think of all the things fear has already stolen from you, the dreams you didn't chase, the words you didn't say, the people you never met, the risks you never took. You think fear protects you, but really it robs you. Quietly, slowly, day by day, it convinces you to play small while your potential screams for more. Not anymore. Now is the time to decide. I will choose courage, not once, not when it's easy, every day. When it's hard, when it's scary, when I don't know how it'll end, because I'd rather fail moving forward than regret standing still. So yes, fear is natural. It's going to show up, but when it does, you remind it, this seat is taken. My courage is already driving. My mission is already moving. My future is already calling. And I won't let fear write the story of my life. Because today I choose courage, and tomorrow I'll choose it again. You don't need to be fearless, you need to stay fearless. Fear will come. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It'll creep into your thoughts, sneak into your goals, slip into your relationships, and show up loudest right before you're about to do something big, something bold, something that could change your life. That's how fear works. It shows up at the doorway of your destiny, and it's not going anywhere. But the goal was never to eliminate fear. The goal is to outlast it, to keep moving in spite of it, to stare it down and say, "You may walk with me, but you don't get to lead." See, too many people believe the myth that they have to be completely fearless to pursue their dreams, that they need to reach some perfect mental state where all doubt is gone, where all anxiety is cured, where confidence flows effortlessly. Let me tell you, if you wait until you're fearless, you'll never move. If you wait until the fear is gone, your moment will pass you by. You don't need to be fearless. You need to stay fearless. Staying fearless doesn't mean you're never scared. It means you don't let the fear stop you. It means when you feel afraid, you don't shrink, you stand, you breathe, you shake if you must, but you do it anyway. You stay grounded in your purpose, rooted in your calling, locked in on your why. Because fear is loud, but it's not truth. Fear is a reaction, courage is a decision. Staying fearless is about endurance. It's about mental toughness. It's about holding on to your belief in the dark long enough to reach the light. It's not a one-time thing. It's a daily decision. Every day you wake up and say, "Fear, you may follow me today, but you will not drive me." You've got to stay fearless when the voice in your head says, "What if I fail?" You've got to stay fearless when the crowd says, "You're not good enough." You've got to stay fearless when rejection hits, when the plan breaks, when the money's low and the pressure's high. That's when it counts the most. That's when leaders are made, and I'm not talking about fake bravery. I'm not talking about pretending you're invincible. I'm talking about real strength, the kind that shows up with tears in your eyes and a lump in your throat, but you don't back down. The kind that's vulnerable and gritty and powerful because it's real. You want to know what staying fearless looks like. It looks like trying again after you were told no. It looks like raising your hand when everyone else is silent. It looks like launching the business when no one believes in it. It looks like showing up when no one's clapping. It looks like living out loud in a world that wants you to play small. And here's the secret. Every time you act in courage, the fear loses power. Every time you step forward when fear says step back, your confidence grows. Every time you choose faith over fear, you become more dangerous to anything trying to keep you average. Because when you stay fearless, you become unstoppable. So don't wait for the fear to disappear. Learn to move with it. Learn to dance with it. Use it. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you that what you're doing matters. Because fear always shows up around things that matter. That's how you know you're on the right path. You were not built to crumble under pressure. You were built to lead through it, to walk through fear and show others what it means to move with heart, with vision, with courage on fire. So when fear comes knocking, and it will, you answer with conviction. You answer with commitment. You answer with action. You keep showing up. You keep doing the work. You keep climbing, keep creating, keep standing. You stay fearless because the world doesn't need perfect people. It needs bold ones. It needs people who feel fear and move anyway. It needs you. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Let that sink in for a moment. Everything, every dream you've buried, every idea you've talked yourself out of, every door you were too scared to knock on, every stage you've imagined yourself standing on, every relationship, opportunity, break through, it's all there, waiting. But there's a gatekeeper, and its name is fear. Fear isn't just an emotion. It's a barrier. It stands between where you are and where you could be. And it's not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it disguises itself as logic, as caution, as waiting for the right time. But don't be fooled, that's still fear. And the truth is, most people will never get what they want out of life, not because they weren't capable, but because they weren't willing to push past the fear. You've got to make a decision. Are you going to live on this side of fear, or are you going to cross over? Because on this side it's comfortable, it's predictable, you know the routine, you know how to survive here. But survival and success don't live in the same neighborhood. You can't have both. If you want to thrive, you've got to be willing to leave what's familiar and face what's frightening. Fear says, what if it doesn't work? Your purpose says, what if it does? Fear says, you're not ready. Your future says, you're more ready than you think. Fear says, you've never done this before. Your spirit says, that's exactly why it's time. You've got to make a choice. You can protect your comfort, or you can pursue your calling, but you can't do both. The life you want, the bold, free, fulfilled life, it's not going to show up at your doorstep. It's waiting on the other side of a risk. It's waiting in that conversation you keep avoiding. It's waiting in that application you haven't submitted. It's waiting in the yes you keep delaying because fear keeps whispering, maybe later. But let me tell you something. Fear doesn't leave on its own. You've got to move anyway. You've got to act in spite of it. You've got to show up shaking if you have to, but you've got to show up. Because here's the secret. The fear doesn't get smaller, you get stronger. The more you step into it, the more you realize it wasn't as powerful as it seemed. The mountain was never meant to stop you, it was meant to grow you. Every time you face fear, you prove to yourself that you are more than your doubts, more than your insecurities, more than your circumstances. But you've got to start walking. Everything you've prayed for, everything you've journaled about, everything you've envisioned, it's on the other side of a moment. One bold moment, one brave step, one act of defiance against fear. That's all it takes to change your life. People say they want success, but success has a price, and the first payment is always courage. The first test is always fear, and the only way to pass it is to move anyway. So don't wait for fear to disappear. It won't. That's not its job. Its job is to test how bad you want it. Its job is to make sure you're serious. Its job is to see if you're going to settle or step. You're going to settle or step. You've got a fire inside you that's bigger than your fear, a voice that's louder than your doubt, a gift that the world needs. But none of that matters if you stay behind the wall fear built for you. So today, you've got a choice to make. Do you let fear keep you locked out of your future, or do you walk through the fear and unlock it? Because on the other side of fear is your voice, is your vision, is your next level, is your freedom, is your legacy. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Go get it. You've got a fire inside you that's bigger than your fear, a voice that's louder than your doubt. A gift that the world needs, but none of that matters if you stay behind the wall fear built for you. So today, you've got a choice to make. Do you let fear keep you locked out of your future, or do you walk through the fear and unlock it? Because on the other side of fear is your voice, is your vision, is your next level, is your freedom, is your legacy. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Go get it. You said, expand 4 keynote up to 700 words in the style of LesBrown and don't give any intro and heading, ChatGPT said. Fear will always exist, but it doesn't have to lead. Fear is a permanent part of life. Let's be honest, it's not going anywhere. It'll always be there in some shape, some form, some voice in the back of your mind trying to convince you to take the safe road, to play it small, to wait just a little longer. Fear is persistent. Fear is clever. Fear is familiar. But let me tell you something, fear might exist, but it doesn't have to be in charge. Just because fear shows up doesn't mean it gets a seat at the table. Just because it speaks doesn't mean you have to listen. Fear can walk with you, but it cannot lead you unless you let it. See, a lot of people think the goal is to get rid of fear. They think they can't start the business, they can't take the leap, they can't lead the team, they can't tell their story until they feel completely unshaken. But that's not how greatness works. That's not how courage works. Fear doesn't pack up and leave the moment you decide to grow. No, fear steps closer. But here's what separates the average from the unstoppable: the people who learn how to walk with fear without letting it steer the wheel. The ones who say, yeah, I hear you, but I'm moving forward anyway. You've got to decide who's going to lead your fear or your faith. One of them is always in the driver's seat. You can't serve them both. You can't take bold steps in your life while holding hands with hesitation. At some point you've got to say, fear, you can ride, but you don't get to drive. Fear wants control. It wants to tell you when to speak, when to sit, when to start, and when to stop. It wants to be the voice in your head that plays on repeat. You're not ready. You're not enough. You might fail. But when you believe those lies, you start shrinking your life to fit your fear. And let me tell you something, you weren't born to fit fear's limits. You were born to stretch beyond them. Think about all the things you've missed, not because they weren't possible, but because fear made the decisions. Fear chose silence when you had something to say. Fear chose safety when you had a calling to chase. Fear chose delay when the opportunity was right in front of you. Fear leads to regret, and regret is heavier than failure. Failure teaches. Failure builds character. Failure pushes you forward, but fear freezes. Fear keeps you stuck in the same place, watching life move forward while you stay on pause. But not anymore. From this moment forward, you choose who leads. You take the keys back, you take your power back, you take your future back, and you do it knowing fear might still show up tomorrow. That's okay. Let it come, let it talk, let it sit in the back, but it doesn't get to navigate. You don't have to wait until you stop being scared to start moving. You just have to start anyway. Start scared, start unsure, start messy, but start. Because every time you do something fear tried to stop, you get stronger. You rise, you remember who you are, and here's the truth. The more you lead your life, the less fear will lead your mind. The more you trust your steps, the quieter fear becomes. The more action you take, the less influence fear has. You don't owe fear your future. You don't owe it your voice, your dream, your joy, your potential. It's okay to feel it. It's human to feel it, but it's powerful to move anyway, because fear may exist, but from now on it won't lead. You will. You weren't built to play small. You were built to rise. There's something inside you right now, something powerful, something extraordinary, and the world is waiting to see it. But too many people die with their greatness still locked inside of them. Why? Because they got comfortable playing small. They listened to the opinions of others more than the calling inside their own heart. They believed the lie that they weren't good enough, smart enough, worthy enough. So they shrank. They dimmed their light. They settled for less than they were born for. But I'm here to tell you, you were never built for that. You weren't designed to shrink, to hide, to hold back. You were designed to rise. You see, you weren't created to live an average life. You were created with purpose, with gifts, with a story that can move hearts and a presence that can shift rooms. There is something unique about you, and if you don't rise, the world misses out. Somebody needs what you've got. Somebody is waiting on your courage to unlock their breakthrough. Somebody is watching you, wondering if it's safe to shine, and when you rise, they rise too. But here's the thing, rising isn't easy. It takes guts, it takes fire, it takes a decision to stop hiding behind fear, behind excuses, behind perfectionism, and say, I'm not playing small anymore. See, playing small feels safe. You don't get criticized when you play small. You don't get rejected when you don't speak up. You don't risk failure when you don't try. But let me tell you something, you also don't grow. You don't discover. You don't become. You don't lead. You don't live fully. Greatness was never meant to be comfortable. You don't rise in ease, you rise in resistance. You rise in challenge. You rise when you're tired, when you're scared, when you feel like backing down, but you keep showing up anyway. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to be powerful. You don't need it. You don't need approval to walk in your purpose. You don't need validation to be valuable. You've already been equipped. You've already been chosen. You've already been through too much to stop now. Let me ask you this. What would your life look like if you stopped playing small? What kind of impact would you make? What kind of business would you build? What kind of love would you give? What kind of legacy would you leave? You weren't built for the sidelines. You were built for the front lines, for influence, for leadership, for transformation, that calling you feel. That's not your imagination. That's your assignment, but you've got to rise. Not someday, not when you feel ready. Now, because life isn't waiting, opportunity isn't waiting, and your moment, it's already here. Every time you doubt yourself, remind yourself, I was built for this. Every time you hear that voice that says, who do you think you are? Answer back, I am chosen, I am prepared, I am powerful. Every time you feel like shrinking to make other people comfortable, don't. Rise anyway, shine anyway, speak anyway, love anyway. You weren't meant to just take up space. You were meant to make space for truth, for healing, for possibility. And when you rise, you become a mirror for others to see what's possible for them. So don't you dare play small. Don't you dare dim down. Don't you dare let fear rob you of the fire that was placed in you. This world doesn't need more people blending in. It needs more people bold enough to stand out. It needs more people living in purpose, on purpose, with power. It needs you. You weren't built to play small. You were built to rise and rise big. Rise loud, rise free, rise fully, because your time is now.